What's up everyone, my name is Alpha and today we're back with another Pokemon challenge on Pokemon Radical Red. Today's challenge will be, can I beat Pokemon Radical Red normal version? I was gonna say hardcore, and I was like, but no, normal version, default minimum grinding with only ice type Pokemon. Now this is a suggestion from the comments since I've done the rock and bug, the two hardest typings, and now we're gonna do the third one, the ice type typing, which I don't think is the worst typing. I don't think it was in like the top 5 worst typings. It's just that they're mostly bad defensively and they're very great offensively. So I don't think it's a bad typing at all on like bug and rock. We're gonna try our hands at it because you guys did suggest it. We have to finish off the trio, but anyways, before we get into that, I'm gonna run down the quick rules. The quick rules: you gotta play on minimum grinding default version. I know some people want me to do hardcore mode. If you guys want me to try out hardcore mode once again, I'll try it out. I do mind actually. Hardcore mode is actually quite difficult, so I'm gonna need some like fanfare for it. Gotta play through Radical Red with ice type Pokemon. They have to have an ice type typing. Could be dual typing, but it have to be ice at least. Can evolve into it, unless you get the evolution after, but that's a gray area. Finally, all my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments, so thank you so much for leaving a comment in my previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after a Pokemon in my future challenge videos, just leave it in the comments and hopefully I'll pick yours. And while you're down there, please don't forget to leave a like, comment down below some challenge ideas just like this one, and some nicknames, and subscribe if you guys are not already. It'll greatly help my channel. As for, I think well, let me just quickly check my YouTube analytics. I don't know, I'm not sure if you guys care or not, but we are at 35,000 subscribers. We're halfway there, about halfway there to 40,000 subscribers, which is insane to me because I feel like we just hit 30k like 3 months ago. So anyways, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Let's get into the challenge video itself. To start off with, there is no ice type starter, so our first ice type Pokemon we're gonna get is gonna be a Snover in Viridian City, which I'm not gonna cover every single ice type Pokemon we capture because I mean that's gonna be a waste of time. You'll see them on screen of which one I capture, but I capture a lot of them at the start of the game, including Swinub and also Snom from the forest. Now a lot of people don't actually notice, you can actually search for hidden ability Pokemon by going into the Dex Nav in the menus and then pressing R on the Pokemon you want to search for. Go back into the field and then pressing R, it will search for you automatically. And to get the hidden ability, you just have to build up the search level or the search encounter, whatever. Once the search level is at a certain point, it'll spawn in a hidden ability Pokemon, some better IV Pokemon, just some better egg move Pokemon. It's all the works like that. All you have to do is go through the Dex Nav. It's one of the best mods into ROM hacking, I think. It's one of the better ones at least. And from there, we're gonna go into Petalburg City. Petalburg City? No, we're gonna go into Pewter City, not Petalburg City, and find ourselves some Meows to get the nuggets from, and also to change our abilities and to see what this egg is. We're hoping for like maybe it's a Ninetales, maybe it's something cool, maybe it's like a Arceus Ice. Unfortunately, it's an Ammonite, so we're gonna bank that and we'll leave it. From there, we're gonna face out against Faulkner, beat down Faulkner pretty easily. Faulkner is just a little mini boss that you have to beat before you get into the first gym, but it's actually not too bad because Swinub actually carries me, as you see. It just does so much damage. Ice Shard is such a sick move because it's stab on these ice type Pokemon, and it's always priority, so it actually works out for me. We're gonna beat Faulkner and face off against the first gym in the game. We're gonna face off against Brock. Brock's giving me the rock type gym leader of the game, and we're gonna start the battle off against him using my Cupchew. Cupchew is going to ice punch into Geodude and freeze it, which I mean it's a great start for us as we knock him out. No damage at all taken. His Arcane comes out. I survive a rock tomb at 1 HP, and Brock is getting RNG messed up. We just destroyed his team basically with a Cupchew. And then from there, his Vulpix is going to come out after we beat the Arcane. We're going to knock him out. Well, we're not going to knock him out, but we're going to do a lot of chip damage using our Swinub. And then go out into my Snom to hopefully survive an attack. Yes, it does. Ice Scale survives. And we do a little chip damage to him, and Ice Shard will finish him off. And his final Pokemon will be an Onix, which we're able to just chip him down because we do have a Snover in the back. We're gonna let our Sandslash go down and then go out into the Snover to Razor Leaf, finish the job. We get the first gym badge in the game on our first attempt. We're gonna say that a lot. This run we actually do a lot of first attempting. We're gonna go into Mount Moon and capture our second permanent Pokemon. We're gonna capture a Smoochum. It's gonna be really nice. We're also gonna face off against the next gym leader in the game. We're gonna face off against Misty in Viridian City. She's gonna be the water type gym leader, and we're gonna start the battle off against her using my Snover. Snover is going to Razor Leaf accidentally into the Floatzel for some reason and crit and knock him out, which is amazing. And then she's going to do it again. She's going to go into her Starmie and then I do about half to it and then force it to recover stall, and then it's not working out. So I knock out her Starmie too, and then the Frogadier finally knocks out my Snover as I take down her two biggest threats in Floatzel and Starmie, and then go out into my Sandslash. It's gonna Ice Punch me for some reason as I'm able to Iron Head it and Ice Shard to knock him out. Her final Pokemon will be a Lantern. It's gonna knock on my Sandslash, but at this point it's 4v1. I go into my Snom to weaken down his special attack. I get 2 off, and then I can finish the job off against her using my Jinx. My Jinx is gonna Side Beam, 2-shot it, and knock out the Lantern, as we're able to beat Misty fairly easily because her team's not bad. She just starts swapping around where we just end up beating her, which is unfortunate for her. We're gonna go into the SSN, clear through the SSN, and get the HM for cuts, which will allow us to go into the Rock Tunnel, where we're gonna get our next Pokemon, our next forever team member. Our next Pokemon is gonna be a Sneasel. Really quick, it's a really good revenge killer. It's a really good Pokemon in my opinion. And then from there we can move on and face off against Lieutenant Surge in the 3rd gym. We're gonna face off against Lieutenant Surge, starting off with our Snover once again. Snover, I'm not too sure why he's starting off, but he's gonna Ice Punch into Pincurchin, looking for a freeze, looking for anything. I'm gonna lower the Vikavolt speed, even though it's very slow anyways. I end up freezing down the Vikavolt and then knocking him out, which is so sad for Volkner. But he's gonna switch out to his Raichu next and is allowed to revenge kill me. It's all good. I think that's pretty fair. I end up using Beat Up on the Raichu, 2-shotting the Raichu because it's a Psychic type, and then he sends out a Bolton. I feel like I should have stayed in here. No, I'm gonna set Cubchoo. That's all good. I go out into my Palossand. My Paloswine, not Palossand. That's a whole different Pokemon. Paloswine is able to Bodo's Ice Shard, knock out a Bolton. He goes into his Pincurchin next, which has Scald, so it's gonna be a little dangerous. I go out to my Sandshrew. Sandshrew gonna Ice Punch, not got the Pincurchin, but does a lot of chip damage. I go out to my Sneasel to Ice Punch it, and Beat Up will knock him out. So works out. I also do some important chip damage to the Manectric, which allows me to go out into my Jinx. Jinx will live a Flame Burst somehow. I think it doesn't have dry skin, so it's going to be able to Side Beam it and then put it in range of Ice Shard. And Piloswine will be able to knock out the Manectric for me, and we beat Lieutenant Surge. Pretty simple as that. And now we move on into Celadon City. There's a lot of things for us to do in Celadon City. Firstly, we're going to go into Saffron City as well. We're also going to change some abilities of our Pokemon, evolve a lot of our Pokemon from Sandshrew to Sandslash to Snom to Frostmoth. Taught our newly acquired Pokemon some new moves, including like all of these. There's a lot of mushrooms that are used. And then we're also going to go out and catch ourselves a hidden ability Vulpix, which will be very, very important. This is actually the most important Pokemon I caught on my team. I'm going to say that. Once we have captured the Vulpix, we're going to face off against Erica, the 4th gym leader in the game. Now we beat Misty and Brock on our first attempt. We're going to face off against Erica next. Erica is going to be the 4th gym leader in the game. She can start the battle off against us using a Rillaboom. I'm going to start the battle off against her using a Ninetales. Unfortunately, I did not first attempt Erica. I'm going to actually Nasty Plot first turn against her. Since she's going to switch out to her Sudowoodo, I'm going to Ice Beam into her, knock out the Sudowoodo, which is great. Big threat is all the way. Superior comes out. I'm going to live a Leaf Storm, Ice Beam into it, and then Hail will knock him out, which is amazing. So 2 Pokemon of hers is gone. Rillaboom comes out. It's getting Grassy Glide me. Obviously, it's going to knock me out. It's all good. We took out 2 of our Pokemon for the price of 1. We go out into our Sandslash, which isn't the best play. But with Icicle Spear, we almost knock him out. He's going to Grassy Glide me for sure. He just outspeeds me, and that's just unfortunate. So we lose 2 Pokemon from that. But we can bounce back. We can go out to our Frostmoth next. We're going to end up Bug Buzzing into Rillaboom, which will knock him out, thankfully. He goes out to his Meganium next. I go out for the Struggle Bug, and then I also am able to live another Ancient Power. Because of that, Blizzard him and end up knocking out the Meganium. Our final Pokemon will be a Venusaur, which knocks out my Frostmoth, but at this point, my team is just so powerful. I love to kiss him using my Jinx, 2-shot him using Side Beam, and we end up beating Erica. From there, though, we're going to face off against Giovanni in the bottom of Team Rocket's hideout, and we're going to clear through him fairly easy. Our Ninetales went amazingly. Look, destroyed the entirety of Giovanni's team. Go out into the Pokemon Tower, clear through this Marowak, which luckily we had some answers to, and we could knock him out even though we're under level. And then from there, we're going to face off against our rival in Silphco. Silphco is not too big of an issue for us. Beat down our rival, also beat down Ariana and Archer. Pretty easy, claim our victory, and beat down Giovanni once again. In another fight, we actually beat him down using Hail, which is funny, because, you know, this Posy guys can actually sweep my entire team if it gets set up correctly, but luckily we avoided that, and we're able to beat Giovanni. Next up, we're gonna first try this next gym leader. We're gonna first try Saffron City's gym leader, Sabrina. Sabrina is gonna be the psychic type gym leader and a double battle fight. We're starting the battle off against her using our Sand Slash and our level 9 Tails. We're in Dazzling Gleam to hit both targets and also Iron Head into the Hatterene to avoid the Trick Room. And then from there, we're able to go out and Dazzling Gleam into the Conqueror. Ice Cold Spear into him to knock him out for sure. Ooh, did not knock him out for sure. But we're trying to aim for a knockout on Conqueror, but that did not work. I thought it worked. But anyways, our Ninetales went down, but our Sand Slash is still up. It still outspeeds everything. So a Blizzard and Ice Cold Spear will knock out the Conqueror and Indeedee. Her next two Pokemon will be a Porygon and a Crawdaunt. I am going to focus attacking on the Crawdaunt. As you can see, I set up a Royal with my Frostmoth and allowed it to set up Trick Room because at this point my team is a little slower. I am able to Bug Buzz into the Crawdaunt, knock him out, and then I'm going to end up Earthquaking for some reason, basically doing most of the damage on my Frostmoth. And then the Gardevoir comes on next. I am able to Icicle Crash and then Bug Buzz to knock out the Gardevoir. And finally, her last Pokemon will be a Porygon Teal, which we just end up beating down. Destroyed everything. My side, her side, it just destroyed everything. We end up knocking out Sabrina and we get the 5th gym match of the game. Now moving on, we're going to go back out into Vermilion City. After we have the Super Route, we're able to get ourselves some Heart Scales and go teach ourselves some Egg moves, which will be very useful because for the very first time, these Heart Scales are actually teaching my Pokemon some new moves that I actually want. So from there, after we teach ourselves some new moves, we're going to face off against Koga. Koga is going to be the 6th gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Ninetales. Ninetales is easily going to live and attack against the Swallow, which will allow us to Ice Beam and knock him out in one shot. He's going to go out to Nacelgore next. I decided to go out into my Sand Slash. I did not first turn him, so I kind of know his move patterns at this point. I am able to dodge a Focus Blast and allow myself to Ice Shard him. I don't dodge the second one, so I had to switch out to my Mamoswine, which is fine. I am able to Ice Shard him. He goes out to his Greninja next. I go out to my Frostmoth. Frostmoth has Ice Scales. It will live any move, and Bug Buzz will knock out the Greninja. No problems at all. And then it goes out to his Drapion. I sack... Oh, obviously I'm going to sack my Frostmoth off against him. I go out to my Mamoswine to Earthquake to one-shot the Drapion, which is amazing. Dragon Ball comes on next. I do a lot of chip damage using Ice Shard, and then it's all up to these three. I go out to my Ninetales next. Wanted to Hypnosis him, but the chip damage is more important. I then sack my Jinx because I know my Weavile will be able to knock out the Toxicity, and sack my Jinx from there and go out into my Weavile, fake out into him, and then I knock off. 2 knockoffs will knock him out. And we end up beating Koga, and we get our 6th gym badge of the game, which allows us to use Surf. We're going to use Surf and Surf to Seafoam Island, clear through Seafoam Island as in beating Price first, get the Choice Scarf from him, which will be very useful coming up, and then going into the Seafoam Island den, clearing through this den because there's an Arctovish. Arctovish is going to be our next Pokemon on our team because it does have Slush Rush. It does have Slush Rush and also is a Water type with Water type moves like Vision Rend, so it's going to be very useful. We're going to put this thing on our team. Luckily, it actually caught itself. And then finally, we're going to go into Cinnabar Island and face off against Jasmine. This fight took a long time. This fight probably took the longest of all the fights in this game because I just couldn't figure a way to beat out Jasmine. But eventually, we were able to beat Jasmine and get a Choice Band from her and face off against the 7th gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Blaine next. Blaine's going to be the Fire type gym leader in the game, and we're going to start the battle off against him using my Mamoswine. I think we have an expert belt on it. We're going to Earthquake one-shot the Torkoal to its face. Typhlosion comes on next. I decided to go out into my Ninetales to break Blazing Soul because I do have Hail to chip him down. It still knocks out my Glaceon, but I am able to go out to my Arctovish to Vision Rend to knock out both the Typhlosion and the Sunflora. He goes out to his Venusaur next. I decided to go out to my Jinx, live an attack because there's no Sun Up, it has no Fire move. Side Struck almost knocks him out, and another Side Strike would knock him out. He goes out to his Cinderace. I have no play here. I decided to go out to my Ninetales to set up Hail. I wanted to see if I could set up a Royal. He's going to kick me in my face, so that's not going to work out. But Fission Wind will knock out the Cinderace, and his final opponent will be a Charizard. Flamethrower knock out my Arctovish, which is fine. I go out to my Weavile to fake him out, and then I'm able to outspeed him, knock him off. And then since I have Choice Scarf on my Jinx, Psychic will knock him out, and we beat Blaine, which is actually amazing. From there, we're going to face off against Archer and Ariana in this back-to-back fight. Luckily, for some reason, my Mamoswine actually clutched up. I went out into my Arctovish here because I thought he's going to superpower me, but he ended up not doing that, so I'm able to Icicle Crash into him. I take a Drill Peck. It's unfortunate. I'm going to Earthquake, knock out the Hatterene, and then flinch the Rhyperior and Earthquake him, and we end up beating Ariana, and luckily we can move on from there. Jeez, that battle took a little bit as well. And from there, we're going to face off against Giovanni. And Giovanni, as I said so many times, Giovanni is not a threat at all. I actually forgot Psychic Terrain's up. I just used Ice Shard because Celesteela was low. Don't say I'm a good player because I just completely forgot about that too. I also knocked out Dialga, which I don't think Lance is so happy about. So anyways, we end up beating Giovanni in a scuff battle. But from there, we can face off against the 8th gym leader in the game. We face off against Claire, and we start the battle off against Claire using our Mamoswine to Ice Shard, force out the taunt from Aerodactyl, and knock him out. His next Pokemon is going to be a Magnera Earthquake with an Expert Belt. It's going to knock out Magnera easily. His next Pokemon is going to be a Naganadel. It's going to be. I don't know why I put an accent on. It's going to be. So I go out to my Weavile. I have a Life Orb on, and I fake out killed myself. I'm like, I'm an idiot. Why would I do that? Go to my Glaceon. Glaceon luckily lives an attack, and Blizzard will knock him out. He's going to go out to his Duraludon, which will Draco Meteor, knock out my Glaceon. I am able to avoid a Draco from him, and then Earthquake him, Ice Shard, knock out Duraludon, and then his next Pokemon will be a Dracovish. I go out into my Ninetales after sacking my really good Mamoswine for some reason. Ninetales did not end up knocking out Dracovish, but Arctovish will outspeed Dracovish, and, well, for some reason, this Dragon decided to Dragon Dance in front of me, even though it had a weakness policy up. So he ended up knocking himself out for no reason, and I am able to outspeed Dracovish still, knock him out. We end up beating the 8th gym leader in the game. I actually forgot I put Dry Skin on Jinx for Dracovish. I never used Jinx against him. I just completely forgot that Jinx was a useful Pokemon. Jinx and Weavile could be replaced. More so Jinx. I actually don't use Jinx at all, except for obviously one of the Elite Four members you should know by now. But anyways, we're going to go out and face off against a rival in this Route 22 fight. Meaningless fight, but we're going to beat him down quite easily. We're going to face off against Brendan. Poor Brendan. He has all these legendaries on his team. He's still bad. Like, I don't know what to tell him. He has all these legendaries, all these OU Pokemon, all these Uber Pokemon. They're still bad. Like, I don't know. My Ice team beat him. My Rock team beat him. My Bug team beat him. This is just embarrassing, Brendan. Like, you have all these... At least my rival, my actual rival, my primary rival, don't have all these crazy Pokemon yet. And we're still able to beat him down. Anyways, we're going to go through Victory Road. You know the classic. Victory Road is you just need some items in between fights to regain your HP. From there, you can clear through the entire Victory Road pretty easily. And you can face off against the Elite Four next. Now, we're going to start off our Elite Four challenge against Lorelei. She gave me the first Elite Four member we're going to face off against. Funny enough, we beat her the first attempt. And we're going to see why. Because it's so scuff. Every time you see a first attempt, it's because it's so scuff. I know Politoed is not going to outspeed my Ninetales, so I decided not to start with my Ninetales first to obviously activate Hail after the first turn. So I'm going to Freeze Dry into the Politoed and then go out to my Ninetales to bait an attack from the Poliwrath, which actually works out. I set up Hail, which is amazing. It goes out to the Swampert next. I'm able to Freeze Dry into him and Freeze Dry into the Poliwrath, which I don't think was a great move. I should have actually Moonblast into the Poliwrath, thinking back to it, but Kyogre comes on next, which will obviously get rid of the Hail. And so I was going to Water Spout and knock out my Ninetales and Glaceon. I go out to my Weavile and my Arctovish next. Knock off into Fission Ren will knock out the Kyogre, as you can see. Poliwrath will also knock out my poor Arctovish. So I have 2 Pokemon left. I am able to Psychic, knock out the Poliwrath, and then protect myself. Muddy Water does not affect me, and her last Pokemon will be a Dracovish. I mean, all I gotta do is Freeze Dry into him, and then Ice Cold Crash into him. Luckily, I survive a Fission Ren, and Freeze Dry will knock out the Dracovish. Lived a Muddy Water, obviously, and then a Freeze Dry will knock out the Kingdra, and we beat Lorelei pretty easily. From there, we're going to face off against Bruno next. Bruno is going to be the Fighting type Elite Four member. He's going to start the battle off against us, using Infernape, which we want. We're going to Earthquake into him, force him to use Taunt, obviously, and then Ice Shard to knock him out. Pretty easy setup battle. And then he's going to send out his Conqueror next. I went out to my Ninetales thinking he's not going to do a lot of damage against me. He does a lot of damage to me, so I set up Aurora Veil first, and then I switched out to my Jinx because he's going to Mach Punch me at this range. That was actually the right play. Ninetales Aurora Veil into my Jinx, allowing me to knock him out using Psychic. And then from there, he's going to go out to his Zacian. I know, I can't do anything here. I'm going to sack my Weavile. Lucky he doesn't set up a Swords Dance in this situation. And then I could go out to my Mamoswine to Earthquake him, survive a Behemoth Blade, and then Earthquake into Ice Shard to knock him out. Luckily, a Focus Sash Mamoswine saved the day against him. Zacian's always so powerful. But from there, I could go out to my Ninetales to set up Hail once again. Like, Hail would make more sense. It would boost Ice move. I just don't understand it doesn't. I go out to my Arctovish to Fission Ren into the Lucario to knock him out. And basically sack my... Well, I mean, it does a lot of damage to Como, as you can see. And then from there, I could go back into my Ninetales to knock out the Como. But he decides to switch out to his Urshifu. And then I knock him out, which is unfortunate for him. So I'm able to knock out the Como and Urshifu. And we end up knocking out Bruno. Ugh. First attempt, by the way. It's crazy. Next up, we're going to face off against Agatha. This is going to be a first attempt. We're going to face off against Agatha. Agatha is going to be the Ghost, I believe, for member. She can start the battle off against us using a Gengar, which is going to be a Zoroark. I'm going to Moonblast into him, and Hail is going to knock him out, so it's already a 6v5. From there, she can switch out to her Aegislash. I'm going to go out to my Weavile to knock it off. Aegislash cannot 1v1 my Weavile, so it's going to go down. Luckily, King's Shield does not lower my attack stat. And then here, I thought I choked because Spectre is going to knock me out. Luckily, I could go out to my Mamoswine. I don't know why. I should just Earthquake. I thought Ice Cold Crash does more damage, but I went for Ice Cold Crash into Ice Shard. You can see little chip damage. If I used Earthquake, it would have died, but it was my mistake. Luckily, Ninetales would knock him out, and then she can go out to her Marshadow. I decided to go out to my Jinx for some reason. Shadow Sneak is obviously going to knock me out. I go to my Arctovish. Fission Ren. I could have done this at the start, but Fission Ren will eventually knock out the Marshadow. I go out to my Ninetales against the Silvally. I avoided 2 Thunder Waves, which is actually crazy. Gengar comes out next. I'm going to preserve my Ninetales. I know all I have to do at this point is set up Hail using my Ninetales, and Glaceon will sweep. So I go out to my Ninetales and end up outspeeding the Gengar twice using Freeze Dry. Number 1, I forgot I have Freeze Dry on. I should have Ice Beam, but 2, Gengar gets outspeeded and knocked out, and we beat Agatha. First attempt, fairly easily. Next up, we're going to face off against Lance next, and I'm not too sure if this was the first attempt or not, but I feel like it. I'm going to say it was, but I'm going to start the battle off against him using my Ninetales to Blizzard into his Aerodactyl, knock him out, make it 6v5 just like I said, and then I go out to my Arctovish against the Melmetal to chip him down using Fisherman. It'll sack my Arctovish, but it'll allow my Mamoswine to knock out the Melmetal. He go out to his Dracovish, which I feel like I should have just gone into my Jinx at that point. I mean, it would have been great. But I sack my poor Ninetales. I go out to my Glaceon to Blizzard into the Dracovish to knock him out. He goes out to his Dragonite next. My Glaceon unfortunately goes down, so I go out to my Weavile to fake out to break his multi-skill and Ice Cold Crash to knock him out. And his last 2 Pokemon will be a Dialga, which I'm able to Ice Cold Crash into him, go out into my Mamoswine, Earthquake him, do a lot of chip damage. He's going to Roar Time me, so he's going to switch out into my Jinx, which will Blizzard him and knock him out. Luckily, it landed. And then his last Pokemon will be a Salamence. And at this point, it's over because he intimidated the wrong Pokemon. He intimidated my Jinx. He's going to Double Edge, chip him down, and Ice Shard 4 times weak into Salamence. No attack drop. He's going to knock him out. So Salamence wins down, and we beat Lance. Even though we choked a little bit because we forgot Dracovish and my Jinx interaction with Dry Skin. But from there, we're going to face off against our rival and the champion of the game. We're going to face off against, or blue, whoever, champion green. Never mind. So we're going to start the battle off against his Pheromosa using my Ninetales. He's getting U-turn, but I caught him with a Moonblast. Choice Scarf, Moonblast, got him down to red HP. He goes out to his Metagross next. Fission Ren into him. Unfortunately, he's going to knock me out, but he's at low HP. I go out to my Mamoswine. It's a great combination, Arctovish and Mamoswine. Allows me to Ice Shard and knock out the Metagross and also the Pheromosa. I have Protect on my Mamoswine, which allows me to see Darmanitan U-turn, and I'm like, wait, you can't do any damage. What's it gonna go into? Earthquake. Hopefully it does not go to Yveltal, which I doubt it since I'm an Ice type Pokemon. But he's gonna go out into his Groudon, which allows me to 2-shot him. Unfortunately, Groudon outspeeds me, but I do enough chip damage where I go out to my Weavile to fake him out and then knock him off. He goes out into his Darmanitan. I knock out his Choice Scarf, and that means my Weavile outspeeds him. I'll knock out his Darmanitan and Ice Cold Crash, a little risky, into the Groudon to knock him out. His last 2 Pokemon will be a Yveltal and a Eternatus next. His Yveltal comes out, I Ice Cold Crash him. If I got a flinch there, it would have been perfect, but unfortunately, my Weavile goes down. I go out to my Ninetales. I Blizzard into the Yveltal to knock him out, and then his final Pokemon will be Eternatus. His final Pokemon will be an Eternatus, which will take a Blizzard, but I'm able to go out to my Glaceon, outspeed him, and Blizzard him to knock him out. And we end up beating the champion of the game. We end up beating the champion of Radical Red using a completely ice team. I'm not gonna lie, this was such an easy game. Easy challenge in my opinion, because I beat this game in 2.5 hours. I think roughly 2.5 hours. in perspective, the rock run took me 6 hours to beat. So that's how different in quality these Pokemon are. Ice types are really great offensive threats. As you can see, I had a Pokemon in my party that wasn't being used most of the time. I was not using Jinx at all. I forgot Jinx was on my team most of the time. So honestly, this was a fairly easy challenge in my opinion. If you guys want to try it out, I really recommend it. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. It means a lot to me that you guys made it this far. If you guys can, please leave a like and comment down below some challenge ideas, and also subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me that you guys support my channel. And my name has been Alpha. Hope you guys all had a great day, and I'm out. Peace.